Arizona, historic Scottsdale Stadium. Spring training home of the San Francisco Giants as they take on your world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Hi again, everybody. Along with Ned Colletti, I'm Tim Never. Kirsten Watson will join us in just a moment. And tonight, the Dodgers and Giants meet for the first time in 2 spring training meetings. They'll play at Camelback Ranch later on during the month. Walker Buehler makes his spring debut. Boy, he's turned into big game butane in October without question. And he gets to get up there on the bump tonight.
He's got great stuff. This kid really knows how to compete, too. When you think about some of the big games that he has pitched in already in a remarkably young career, young big league career, many, many big games you see right there on the screen. A lot of big moments for him. Always game for the situation. 0 earned runs, 1 earned run, 1 earned run, 0 earned runs. Somebody that can battle. Not out there tonight to do that. Really out there to build some arm strength and to really get his pitches as fine-tuned as he can. First time out, you just want to build some strength and get a feel for your breaking ball.
And after Bauer's debut yesterday, Dodger pitchers have allowed just 1 earned run. 4 hits only. A.J. Pollock and the crew getting ready to get things started in Scottsdale. Dodgers, Giants, next. Will have right here on Sportsnet LA. We count you down to the first pitch. Walker Buehler to start. With more on tonight's pitching plan, here's Kirsten.
Thanks, Tim. Well, as you mentioned, Walker Buehler will get the start tonight. He'll take the first 2 innings. I spoke with Dave ahead of the game, and he said that Dustin May will come in with the second 2, taking in the 3rd and the 4th inning. Now, when I talked to Dave Roberts just about the plan for building up Walker Buehler this spring training, he really said that, Walker's taken it into his own hands. He feels really good about where he's at. He really knows his body very well, and he's excited to see where he continues to go this spring training and as he prepares himself for opening day.
Good to see him going on the 2nd of March. Last year, the Dodgers slow played him at the beginning, and it was obviously a much shorter season, and he was prepared come October, and that's certainly one thing the Dodgers hope he is again this year. But longer regular season. Yeah, we'll get to see Dustin May for 2 innings, Ned. That's always good. We don't know if Dustin will be a starter or a long reliever, but boy, did he contribute.
Yep, we'll have a chance to see 2 of the better pitchers in the organization and 2 strong right-handers. Walker's had a couple tough Aprils here and there. Spring training is 6 weeks long typically for a reason. It's really to build up your pitchers. As you say, Tim, he has a little bit slow played. To kind of keep his endurance up for the length of the season, plus the month of October. And so the starts haven't been terrific. So this year, you're starting this early, March 2nd. There's a chance that when the season begins, he'll be pretty good.
See those 2 NL West managers exchanging lineup cards. Dave Roberts, Gabe Kapler. Alfonso Marquez in the middle there. He's the crew chief of this umpiring crew tonight. The way it finished up last year, 43-17 for the Dodgers. 6 games ahead of the Padres. Giants right in the middle of the pack. They were still 2 games under 500, but finished in 3rd place in the division.
People think the Giants are going to be better this year. They're close to 500 in a big-time rebuild right now, but starting to make some progress. And now you won't see it tonight, but a couple former Dodgers in there. It'll also probably help them as the season goes on.
So getting ready to start this one in Scottsdale. Just getting underway a couple of minutes late tonight. Under the lights. This is a ballpark, Ned, that has seen the shadow of many a ball player over the years.
Many great players have played in this stadium, and they rebuilt it maybe 20 years ago and then added to it about 5 or 6 years back with a nice pavilion in right field. But you're right, Tim. A lot of great players have played in this ballpark. I think years and years ago, the Boston Red Sox even trained here, way before spring training was what it is today.
Now, Rick Monday will join us later in the week, tells stories about how when he was roaming center field in this ball yard a long time ago. It's been here a while. It's the oldest one used by anybody in spring training in Arizona. Mookie Betts will lead things off tonight. His 2nd spring training appearance. A few at-bats tonight for Mookie. Corey Seager, World Series MVP. Then A.J. Pollock. Austin Barnes will bat cleanup. Edwin Rios at 3rd base tonight. And then Matt Davidson at 1st base. An interesting player. We'll talk about his pitching as well during the course of the ball game. Sheldon Neuse will be the designated hitter. Andy Burns is at 2nd base. He played yesterday. And James Outman will get the start in center field for the Dodgers tonight. And on the hill for San Francisco, Logan Webb, a guy the Giants are counting on for a big year. Last year, 11 starts. He went 3-4. His ERA much higher than he wanted it to be, 5.47. Allowed just 4 home runs, though, and struck out 46 over 54 in a third innings worked. He's out of the Sacramento area. One time he felt that he was probably going to have a future in football. He was a star quarterback in high school out of Rockland. But it was pitching. That was his calling card, and went through the minor leagues pretty quickly. And here he is, a big part of this Giant rotation.
No doubt he's going to try and work on his command this year. When you walk 24 big league hitters in 54 innings, you're asking for trouble. So I would think that that's probably something that he spent the winter thinking about as he gets ready for his first spring training appearance, something he's going to have to fine-tune to be successful at this level.
So third spring training game. Mookie Betts comes up to the plate. Dodgers 2-0. They beat the Rockies 10-0 yesterday. Giants tied the Texas Rangers yesterday 1-1, so they have yet to get their first victory. Mookie with some acknowledgments. Boy, isn't it going to be nice to see Mookie in a full season at Dodger Stadium, and 162 games on the docket for this guy. He's certainly a special player to watch.
A tremendous player.
First pitch of the ball game. And there for strike one. Called by home plate umpire Chad Whitson.
When you watch players from the other league, from the American League, you have a feel for them, and you know who's good and who isn't and who's a superstar. But you watch this kid play every day, you have a tremendous appreciation for really the upper level of the sport. He brings it every day.
I know it's been mentioned earlier, it was written about earlier in the week, but he was asked to assess his performance from last year. He said it was serviceable. Serviceable. Okay. Well, then what's good?
He's obviously got a lot of expectation for himself because it was far more than serviceable. But you know what? There's a hunger to it. And the great ones, they have that extra gear not only in how they play and how they think, but what they expect.
Fouls this one off. Still 1-2. And prior to the game today, during early work, Mookie Betts was taking ground balls. He'll do that very often. He'll take ground balls at shortstop. He'll take ground balls at third. He'll take ground balls at second. Stays engaged in the game that way. It's just a different muscle memory that he uses aside from playing right field. But Mookie's an athlete, and he can play other positions. In fact, he did start a game last year at second base.
As I think back to last year at all the remarkable things that Dodger fans and we had a chance to see, his defense was a highlight. How about the postseason defense? He turned the Atlanta series, the LCS, around just by playing in the way he played in right field.
And the way that he can handle a wall.
Yes.
It's not an easy craft for any outfielder, especially when you're on the road. But he has it figured out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mookie Betts. Top of the first, just underway in Scottsdale. The pitch. And this one's up in the air, foul down the right side.
What he also does to a very high degree, he pays attention. He pays attention to detail. Nothing gets past him. He understands every nuance. Some people say, well, we're going to work on the little things. There are no little things in the game, and he knows it. And so there's not one thing he takes off. Everything he takes to a fine-tuned area.
8th pitch of the at-bat right here, and he pops it up. Chadwick Tromp, the catcher, battling the night sky, and he wins that battle, makes the catch. Mookie's retired, 1 gone in the first. And second in MVP voting to Freddie Freeman of Atlanta. Yeah, that's a serviceable year.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
So 1 down. Another guy who was serviceable or better, Corey Seager. Gotta find out what he did with that vehicle he took home from the World Series. There's a strike called to Corey.
Since the day we drafted Corey Seager, he's had a great presence to him. Well beyond his years, he understands a lot about a lot of things and could figure it out and slow it down and put it into practice.
1 ball and 1 strike to Seager.
I had a conversation with him years ago. He was selected for the Futures game, the game before the All-Star game, where every team sends 1 or 2 players to it. And he was selected from the Dodgers. And
same pitch as the last one.
I told him, I said, look, you got to understand, you got a chance not to just be a big league player, but to be a great big league player. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. And I don't even know if you know yet all that it's going to take. But you got a shot to do it. So about 4 years go by, and I'm walking out to the TV set, and I see him with Mike Fiore, one of his agents. And we start talking, and I start walking away, and he says, hey, Ned, you remember what you told me 3-4 years ago? I said, I'll never forget it. He goes, neither do I. So he plays with that. As a 19-year-old kid, had the presence of mind to take some information with him and continues to put it to good use.
Swings and misses at the 2-2, and 2 men out. A.J. Pollock. Think about A.J. last year. He did contract COVID-19 right around the time his daughter was born, and he was considering opting out. His wife said, nope, you're an athlete, you're a competitor. There's no way you're going to be on this couch watching this team win the World Series. You're going to go be a part of it. And it turned out she was exactly right.
He was a big part of it last year. First year, a little bit of an adjustment year for him 2 seasons ago. But last year, you saw why the Dodgers went after him.
Oh, this one's hit well. But going back after it is Mauricio Dubon. He tracks it down for the 3rd out. 3 up, 3 down for the Dodgers in the top of the 1st inning. Walker Buehler will make his spring debut. We return to Scottsdale. Score. Lamont Wade Jr. will lead off for San Francisco. Alex Dickerson to follow. Jason Bosler, Wilmer Flores at first base. And Ralph Dubon, Tron, Alcantara, and Luciano down the San Francisco 9. Here is the pride of Henry Clay High School in Lexington, Kentucky, Walker Buehler. Last year, 8 starts, 1-0. The opponent average, really the impressive number there, 178 against. His first pitch of 2021 is inside ball 1.
He is not an easy at bat.
Early in the season, he had to zero in the target a little bit. This one is lifted to right field and waiting for it, Mookie Betts. 1 down.
You know, we talked about Betts earlier and the extra gear that he has in his thought process and his play. Walker Buehler's a lot the same way. When it comes to a competitive moment, he wants it. He wants it more than probably a lot of people that are in the big leagues. I think he's kind of made for that. There's some players that are made for April to September, and there's others that are made for October. He's one of those people made for October, too.
Outside to Alex Dickerson. 1-0 to the Giant left fielder. And Buehler's 1-0. It's inside 2-0. Look at his first 4 starts from 2020. He walked 9 men in 19 innings. You're looking at 4 1/4 walks per 9, which was highly unusual for Walker Buehler. But then his next 4 starts, he cut that down to just a little over 1 walk per 9, where he walked 2 in his next 17 2/3 innings.
Well, that's why spring training is what it is. It's really to get your pitchers built up. He had a shortened spring last year, so as you get into those first starts of a regular season, he was still kind of finishing off spring training a little bit with different pressures on him than he had otherwise.
There's Outman with a sliding catch on a tailing line drive. 2 down. Catch by James Outman.
But you look at this rotation. We saw Trevor Bauer yesterday. You got Clayton, of course, Hall of Famer. David Price, another former Cy Young Award winner. Walker Buehler. As teams look at who are the probable pitchers coming up in a series, typically you can find 1 or 2 that you say, hey, we ought to have a shot against this guy. I don't know who you say that about with the Dodgers. I don't think you can say it about anybody. Yes. And whoever the 5th starter is, same thing.
That's right. 1-0 pitch to Vossler, the third baseman, fouled off. 1-1. I think we touched on it yesterday afternoon too. There's so many teams who don't know who their fifth starter is. Mark Pryor has a pretty good idea with the Dodgers who maybe the sixth and seventh and eighth starter could be. I mean, they have put themselves in a great position because you know things happen during the season, as you well know.
Oh yeah.
You don't know how you're going to have to go through the middle portion of the season or even late portion of the season. You're going to need arms.
No manager or general manager or president of baseball ops ever said, "Oh, we have too much pitching."
This one down the left side. That's in for a hit. That's going to go to the wall. A.J. Pollock will track it down as Vossler rumbles into second, and he'll stop there with 2 down. So it'll be a double for Vossler. And the Giants with a little something going late in the first.
Good piece of hitting there by the kid. Got a pitch that is on the outer half of the plate. He goes that way. He doesn't try to do too much with it. He knows he's facing somebody with some velocity, so it's going to be difficult to pull a ball like that. Outer half, up in the zone. Just take it where you got a shift going on. Just take it the other way.
Well, Vossler in scoring position. 2 down for Wilmer Flores, former New York Met, Arizona Diamondback, last year's first year with the Giants. Flores had primarily been either a middle or left side infielder, but now getting some time at first base.
Well, versatility, as we talk about all the time with the Dodgers, whether it's in your lineup or on how you play your defense. It's great to have.
Buehler gets a chance to work out of the stretch here in the first inning. Delivers high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Certainly something to consider from the pitching standpoint, is you want to be able to work in all situations at some point in time during spring training, simply because you're going to be in those situations during the regular season. In the air, shallow center, and Outman comes in and makes the foot first grab.
Nice job.
All right, 2 nice plays by Outman. No score after 1. Champion Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the SoCal BMW Centers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Oh, other scenes, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger from the World Series. It's good to see a lot of those images and reminders and memories of the great 2020 season. Throughout the course of not only spring training, but the regular season. Dave Roberts, a wonderful job managing everybody, the pitching staff, you name it. And even though this team has won 3 of the last 4 National League pennants, finally brought it home. A lot of help from this guy too, Austin Barnes, who was good in the postseason. And facing a new pitcher, this is Matt Wisler. So Logan Webb just went the 1 inning. Had a 1-2-3 inning with 1 strikeout, so he is done. And Matt Wisler comes on to face Barnes.
Austin Barnes had a terrific postseason. Offense, but really defense, really calling games and getting pitchers through tough innings. Every pitch in the postseason is magnified. Scouting reports, everything is just really fine-tuned. He did great. And the last pitch of the World Series, he put the ball in his pocket.
Well, how many guys get an opportunity to do that?
Exactly.
Not many, so.
Rick Dempsey was the last one from the Dodger uniform.
1988. And there's a walk, so Wisler issues the free pass, and the Dodgers have their first base runner tonight.
I give Barnes a lot of credit. A few years ago, they sent him back to the minor leagues after having some major league time. A lot of guys could have sulked. A lot of guys could have been agitated by that. If he was probably more agitated at himself and really became better at everything that he needed to do. Always a pretty good catch and throw guy, but turn that up a notch and also turn the offense up. Talk about turning the offense up. This kid can flat out hit here.
Led Major League Baseball last year in terms of home runs per at bats. Fewer than 10 at bats, he'd hit a home run. That was 9.5. Every 9.5 at bats, he's hitting one out of the yard.
And when he hits him out of the yard, you're talking about out of the yard. No cheap home runs here from Mr. Rios.
No. One on and nobody out of the pitch high, and it's 1-1. Remember the one he hit in Arizona?
Oh, goodness.
It hit the steel beam that holds the huge scoreboard in center field. It hit the beam, and then I think that's where StatCast stopped. And he got cheated on.
Oh, yeah. They said it was like 424 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's probably another 100 feet that had it landed.
You know, you figured he would have a shot to hit the longest home run by a Dodger last year, but he did not even in the top two. Gavin Lux hit one in Colorado that was, I think I said 453 off the top of my head. And then Corey Seager had the next one. It was in the 440s. And then I think Rio's numbers started to show up.
Good take right there. 1-2 pitch. Whistle trying to get you to chase a little bit. Held off. That's what you look for in your younger players in the spring. Really their identification of a strike zone, their ability to slow it down, whether it's now or whether it's in the regular season.
2-2. Fought off. I think you got to be happy for the Miami native and what he did last year, how he contributed. And it's a pretty loaded roster for the Dodgers too. You know, he'll contribute some way, shape, or form. Just a matter of where and when. Three-two.
Good take there too. Not easy to stay off that pitch.
Chadwick Tromp, we noticed in the last
cheat there a little bit.
Yeah. Last couple of years, we see more catchers catching the ball up like that. Seventh pitch of the at bat, and he's walked him. So 2 straight walks for Matt Wisler.
Excellent at bat right there.
The Dodgers have set up shop, first and second, and nobody out.
As you look at how the Dodgers approach their at bats for quite a while now, whether it's the regular season or in the month of March. It's with great patience. They make pitchers throw strikes, and there's probably less what you would consider high quality big league pitching than there's ever been. So they take advantage of it. They take advantage of it, and they make guys throw strikes. We say it all the time. The games are too long for the opposition because you got to be able to throw effective strikes. A lot of guys can't do it. Dodgers make them pay.
Dodgers had a good day yesterday with runners in scoring position. They were 6 out of 13. 2 Dodgers out there for Matt Davidson, former White Sox slugger. Also spent some time last year with the Reds. And he threw a bullpen the other day. He has pitched for both the Reds and the White Sox in his career. And Dave Roberts wanted to give him a look in the bullpen. Just see what he's got. Back last year, he pitched for the Reds 3 times. 3 1/3 innings. Back in 2018, he had 3 appearances for the White Sox. Takes a breaking ball there for a strike. But you think about two-way players. I don't know if you go that far just because he's pitched 6 times, but it wasn't really in situations for the most part where you had a position player coming out to pitch. Especially when he began with the White Sox, they actually thought he could be a two-way player. 1-2 is banged to right field. And on a line, it is hauled in by Lamont Wade.
Good contact right there.
Well, he hit it on the screws, but right at Lamont Wade Jr.
It might be smaller, but
They said right there, it looks like Wade may have, maybe just for a split second there, perhaps lost it in the light. And rallied to make the play.
Well, Sheldon Noisy came over from the Oakland A's. He is the DH tonight. So he's getting some opportunities to get some swings in. And he'll get some solid looks here during spring training.
No doubt. Heard a lot of good things about this young man. Big time power. Some of it will depend too if the National League ends up with the DH or not. I know right now it's not happening, but you never know. You got negotiations can go on all the way really to close to the outset of the season.
A few weeks left, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember
Got almost a month left.
a few years ago. I mean, they changed the replay rules right about a week before the season, I want to say.
Yeah.
So things like that have happened in the past, but would that be a fair situation to National League clubs who for months were wondering whether or not they needed to adjust their rosters? I think some teams may have some guys in camp that could help in that regard, just in case.
Well, there's a possibility too that they told teams, look, we don't have it right now, but don't plan as if we're for sure not going to have it, because you never know. And everything is a negotiated point. So if they're talking, it's between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. And you never know what they may come up with. I think it actually benefits players to have a DH. I'm not sure how many pitchers want to hit it. We know Trevor Bauer doesn't want anything to do with it. But I think that it allows it, especially a team like the Dodgers, it opened up another 4 at-bats for a really good hitter to come and play and gave Dave Roberts more options than he would have had otherwise.
Andy Burns, formerly with the Blue Jays, he spent some time in the KBO. The Lotte Giants in Korea. Had a 2-run double yesterday against Colorado. Burns playing some second base tonight. 2-0 count on it.
Again, versatility. Played all over the field. He's played all over the globe. Australia too, Venezuela.
That's the life of a pro.
Yep.
Go where the games are.
Love for the game.
This one's bounced foul, third base side. 2-1 to Burns. How many countries have you gone to see baseball in?
Goodness. Venezuela many times, Dominican Republic many times, Mexico many times, Japan, Korea, Australia, Taiwan, Canada.
You might have hit them all. All the baseball playing countries anyway. Although they do play more in Europe these days. Italy and the Netherlands. There are other places where the game continues to grow.
It's great to see it. When I came to the Dodgers, I told ownership during the interview process, they said, what would you do that would be Dodger-like, that would be different than what anybody else has ever done? I said, we'd be one of the first teams to play in China. And we did. We played San Diego, a 2-game series there. Spent about 4 or 5 days in Beijing. And started to grow the game there. And talking to Jim Small, who's a dear friend who helps out in Major League Baseball International the other day. And the game is growing all over the globe, including China. Perhaps the Dodgers had something to do with it.
2-2 pitch. Gallo swinging. So, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 men left. Inning and a half done in Scottsdale. No score. Dodgers and Giants.
Welcome back to Scottsdale. Have you stocked up on your new World Series champions gear yet? The Top of the Park store is now open Tuesday through Saturday at Dodger Stadium. See Instagram at Dodgers Top of the Park for store hours and details on how to purchase for home delivery.
Thank you, Kirsten. Darren Ruff facing Walker Buehler to start the bottom of the second inning, still scoreless. This will be the final inning of work for Buehler, as Kirsten reported prior to the game. And Ruff hits this one in the air to right. Chasing near the line is Mookie, and he just can't get it.
Smart play there by Mookie. Don't need to be making any big-time catches in spring training and end up hitting into that wall there. Kind of knows where it is, but also not quite sure. Caution pays right there.
Yeah, regular season, he's going into the wall.
Yes.
With everybody holding their breath at the same time. Not too many guys play harder than Mookie Betts. 0-2 pitch to Ruff. 1-2. hit .273 last year.
Former Philly.
Buehler's 1-2. Shot foul, first base side.
Tough time getting around on that one.
I mentioned that Andy Burns was in the KBO, but so was Darren Ruff. He spent 3 seasons with the Samsung team over there before coming back and playing for the Giants last year, appearing in 40 of the 60 games. He had some good years in Korea, 2017, 2018, 2019, after he left the Phillies. One-two, big curveball. Ruff looking back, wondering where that came from. 1 out.
That was a tremendous pitch, especially for this time of year, but any time of year that works. Really tough. Sets him up with a fastball. They had a tough time getting around on, hit it down the right field line foul, then comes up with something soft with the big loop to it. You got to be an excellent hitter to be able to handle that.
Mauricio Dubon had a good year last year. He came up as an infielder and found a home in center field last year for the Giants. 0-1 pitch. Pretty good looking pitch there.
Tried it again.
Somebody grunted at the plate. I was wondering if that was Barnes, thinking it was a strike. And the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike out of Mauricio Dubon.
As Walker gets a little bit more command, that pitch there's got that low life strike to it.
Mookie Betts getting a little work in. 2 men down. So far, so good for Walker Buehler. He gave up the double to Jason Vosler with 2 outs in the first. Well, he's had 4 fly ball outs and 1 strikeout.
Efficient. You got 5 outs. You got 22 pitches. You take that.
He'll face Chadwick Tromp. Tromp caught a bunch for him last year. Appeared in just 24 games. And he'd been with the Reds for a while in AAA. And you talk about the international player. He would be eligible to play in the next World Baseball Classic for the Kingdom of the Netherlands because he's from Aruba. Bouncer to the third base side, and backhanding it is Seager. Throw him out. Well, 3 up and 3 down for the Giants in the second. And a pretty successful spring debut.